when things are going bad, don't get all bummed out, don't get startled, don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another Iron Will podcast with me, Shane Warner, and
John Chase.
So what this podcast is all about is we are trying to get stories from people that have been through a traumatic experience in their lives and came out a different person.
Yeah, they have all created an iron will. So what is an iron will? A burning determination that cannot be stopped or hindered by anything. Willing to do anything to get a desired outcome. Extremely resilient. So what we like to say is just keep punching.
Yeah. So sit back and relax, and we're going to start the show.
So today we have Josh Fifita on the podcast with us, and how I know Josh is from
the Fit Club Gym.
Club Gym, yeah.
So I'm just going to have Josh kind of introduce himself, and so take it away, Josh.
Yeah, thanks, Shane. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I don't know where to really start. Grew up, I guess I was born in Provo, Utah.
Okay.
Family is LDS, and so like most LDS families, we had a big one.
Yeah.
My dad is...
How many?
There's 12 siblings, so there's 13 kids total.
Dude, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
I have 10. There were 10 in my family. Oh, dude.
That was wild. So
yeah.
A lot of that's why I'm so skinny, is because I had to fight for food. But I grew up in Provo, and then about, I think when I was in like third grade, my family moved to Salem, and then was in Salem ever since. Really the only reason we moved was because we outgrew our house so fast, because a lot of adoptions and a lot of stuff with kids, and so we needed more land.
Okay.
So then I came to Salem, Utah, and stayed here forever.
Dude, I like now. Salem though.
Yeah.
Salem's great.
Oh yeah,
it's tucked away in the corner, you know, in a beautiful valley, and it's
really
pretty
beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. So I've enjoyed Salem. I love Salem, and so yeah, I grew up here, and then moving back down here in the next couple months, and Spanish Fork, but same place.
Yeah.
Really.
Where do you live now?
I live in Pleasant Grove right now.
Oh, PG.
And so hopefully we'll be back down here soon.
Yeah.
And then be closer to the gym and be closer to everybody.
That's something that I want you to kind of go over is your gym.
Yeah.
And like we already had London on the podcast with us, and Josh Fifita owns the gym with London.
The Fit Club.
Fit Club.
I keep wanting to call it the Fight Club.
Yeah, well the funny thing is that's where we got it.
Yeah.
My wife was like, me and London, when we were first thinking about it, was like, what can we call it?
Yeah.
And my wife's like, why don't you call it Fit Club, like Fight Club?
Oh.
Yeah.
And like our first like thought was like, you know how in the if you've seen the movie,
the
like number one rule of Fight Club is like you don't
talk about it.
Fight Club.
So what we wanted to do was Fit Club. The first rule of Fit Club is you talk about Fit Club, and like spin it off of that. So that's where we actually got it.
Oh wow! Yeah,
I figured that was like a chain or something like that. I don't know.
We just kind of
they started from scratch, man.
Yeah,
journey.
Crazy.
Here, figuring it out.
Well, let's get into that, but through like I want to know some stuff about like how hard is it to grow up with that many siblings?
Oh yeah,
I mean, come on. There had to been. It must have been a fight club going on there. It wasn't my family. We had 10, and I mean we fought all the time. Yeah. There was always fighting. So
So my family dynamic's a little different too. So I'm the last. So my parents, they basically didn't have. We're told they couldn't have kids.
Okay,
and then they ended up having 4, and I'm the 4th one.
Okay.
So I have 3 older siblings, and then after me, my mom almost died during my birth. And so, like, obviously they kind of like, I don't know, the procedures like made it so she can't have any kids anymore. And then she started having these dreams of this little boy, and come to find out it's my younger brother Ammon. And so they ended up adopting everybody. So there's 4 of us, and then she adopted Ammon, and then I have an older brother that's adopted. His name's Daniel. And then more after that. And so
are they all
there's
all
13.
Bible names or scripture names?
I mean, it might as well should be. But yeah, so it was crazy. I mean, it wasn't like it was all like dumped in. And I'm kind of like in that middle area where like I was the youngest of the older, and then I was the oldest of like that middle age group.
Yeah.
And so like there's 5 years between me and my next younger brother.
Okay.
And so like growing up, we were like more of like the sports. Into sports, played high school sports, things like that. He actually played college sports, but we were a lot closer because of that bond. And then my older siblings, I was just closer to because like I was older.
Yeah.
And so like it was kind of cool to be in the middle, but there was, I mean, you name it, it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that younger brother punching him in the face multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And like, you know, like it happens all the time, but it was interesting because like as my family or my parents kept adopting kids, the dynamic of the home changed, especially because
was it like you versus them kind of?
Did you ever feel that way?
Yeah. Not
Jealousy,
really.
anything like that?
No, it was super weird, and I think like since we've got older, we've got closer.
Sure.
Okay.
Because so like my family's heritage. My dad is from the island of Tonga, and so he came here when he was in his early 20s, and so like his culture and the way he grew up is very different than the U.S. Obviously.
Oh yeah,
And-
for sure.
And what made his family come here? Was it the Mormon church or?
No, so he actually, when he was about 7, so it's him and his younger brother Phil. When he was about 7, my uncle was 5. His parents left the islands to come to the States.
Okay.
And so he was kind of just put into a village and just kind of passed around from family to family.
Wow.
And so he grew up, basically homeless at 7.
That's
Wow.
crazy,
And
man.
his dad was working for Delta, my grandpa, and then flew back to the islands and basically was like, hey, do you want to come to America?
Yeah.
And so he was like, yeah, we do. And so they came and
Wow.
slowly kind of migrated over.
That's really cool.
And then once he came to the States, he ended up, his parents had split. His dad was in Colorado. He moved there, and then that's when he kind of got affiliated with the church.
Okay.
Served a mission, came to BYU to play rugby, and that's
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
the rest is history.
That's
Rugby, yeah.
so cool. That's
There's-
a really good story.
Utah has a lot of Polynesian, Tongan rugby players. Like it's,
Yeah.
and that's what I have to say. That's kind of what makes them so good.
Just
There's
just look at like BYU for
I know.
instance, and,
Yeah.
and that's a team filled with Polynesians.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's Tongan. His dad came straight from the islands.
Yeah.
Joe Pututau. Do you know?
Oh, yeah, the
Pututaus.
Pututaus,
Yeah. So Joe's my brother-in-law, and we. He said it was kind of a similar type of thing. His dad got to do whatever he wanted growing up in Tonga. Like they ate a dog once. They ate. It's just like the neighbor was like, "Have you guys seen the dog?"
No.
And like, oh.
We ate.
So he used to joke with Joe all the time when if their dog would be yapping too much, he'd be like, "Dude, shut that thing up, or I'm gonna cook it."
That's
I'm gonna
funny.
eat it.
No.
My grandpa was in Korea during World War II, and he had a little dog that he was taking care of, and he went out on a mission, and the family he was living with ate his dog. And, like,
It's just a different culture, man. I mean, like meat is meat,
and
Yeah.
they didn't
So-
think anything of it.
Yeah.
Like,
they're like, "Hey,
Well, that's
that thing
normal.
looks
Yeah.
Like when you gotta eat to survive instead
Yep.
of eating McDonald's and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
hey, it's running around. Mine is. I think my dad ate a cat once.
oh my gosh.
I'll have to double check. That. Like he has all these stories because like he was basically just passed around, and so it's not like he had like parents that were providing
There wasn't
for him. And
good
stuff. And so,
structure.
like,
Yeah.
there was. He's told me multiple times like him and his brother would go and like steal like chickens and stuff and like go and kill them. And then, like, after they do it, they would just, like, put on as much clothes as possible because they knew that they were going to get a whooping the next day.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
he was like, I just put on as many pants as I can. I knew that lady would come and just beat me with a 2x4. And you know what I mean? But, like, life's different in the islands. And so,
wow.
but it's crazy how that's transitioned into, like, his work life now. And like kind of what's been passed on to like, you know, my siblings and kind of like how we were raised. But yeah, it's crazy.
So he played rugby and then he met your mom in college.
Yep.
Right. What did he do after rugby?
So he started at, you know, it's funny. He's definitely a guy that, and so he started doing landscaping, and it started with cutting trees. He had a couple of neighbors say, "Hey, can you cut this tree down?" And he would just say yes. And then they would pass him to these other people and say, "Hey, can you do concrete?" And he would say yes. Obviously, he was lying through his teeth.
Yeah.
And then he would go and find somebody that knew how to do it and be like, "Hey, can you teach me how to do concrete?"
That's the best way,
right?
yeah.
Wow.
And so he ended up, he started his own landscape company, and then he actually works for BYU as well. And so
Doing landscaping stuff?
yeah, so he does all the hardscape at BYU. So if you go to BYU and see like all of the pavers and the walls, and all that stuff is him.
Then he would know Jim. Dude, what's his last name? Forgot.
I'm pretty sure he's a
Jim.
bigger guy.
No, shorter guy. He was doing a lot of the landscaping management, stuff like that on the field and all that.
Is
Jim.
he the track guy?
He was actually coming to my gym for a while, and then COVID happened, and
I'll have to point that about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's been doing that. I mean,
I'll remember his last name. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
But,
text me.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a hard worker. He's a busy guy. But yeah, so he's kind of kicked off the side job. He's like 63 now.
Oh, okay.
So he's getting older, and so like he works at BYU full time, and then every now and then he'll do a side project and trying.
So is he gonna retire pretty soon?
Yeah, he thinks another like 2 or 3 years, and then he'll retire. And
Yeah, my dad's retired now, and he's still trying to figure out like what he should be doing. I think he has done a lot of projects for family and stuff like that. But
That's cool.
Yeah, when you get bored, you have all that time.
Yeah.
You know, you start figuring. That's the biggest fear I have is he doesn't have very many hobbies. So I think he's crazy. And
You can, have him start working out at the gym and all that kind of stuff. He's like, no, not going to happen.
I've tried to get him in a couple times. He calls it a spa.
Yeah.
He doesn't call it. He's like, "How's your spa doing?" You know? I'm like, "This is very different, but yeah, it's good." You know what I mean? Like, he's very stuck in his ways. You know?
Yeah. He's like, "Boy, my workout was actually working."
Yeah, and that's his definition.
Yeah.
Hey, like, do you want to work? Yeah, go in the yard and shovel this dirt, and you'll get a workout.
It is. It is good workout. Yeah.
I ain't doing that. No way.
Yeah. So, high school, you played sports, right? Basketball.
Where did you go to high school?
Yeah, so I went.
Salem?
I was in Spanish Fork for 2 years, and that's actually where I initially met London.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a year older than him, and so my sophomore year, I was on the basketball team, and London played up, and so he played on the sophomore team, and so I played basketball my freshman and sophomore year at Spanish Fork. And then I played football as well. And then when we came to Salem, I got cut from the team for basketball, and so I just ran track. And then played
Was
football.
that right about when Salem was built?
Yeah,
because
so
it was
my
built
junior
right.
year was the first year they were open, and then
that's right.
we were like the second year to graduate. Was my 2010?
Yeah, because I was actually the strength coach for the volleyball team, which he married one of the volleyball players.
Yeah, and Kathy's still the coach.
And she still is Kathy Trainer. Yeah. Dude, that was some good times. I remember going down there, and they still have that 600-pound tire, that giant tire down there. Dude, it's the beast. I love it.
Anybody's making it since.
I'm the only one that would go down there and flip it.
I don't think.
Love
I don't
that
think
thing.
the football team uses it. I think they're trying to do. Other
I asked
stuff.
one of the other coaches, and I said, "Can anybody flip this by themselves?" And he's like, "Usually I have a couple guys at a time." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Really?
Lets me know how strong I am. I'm like, "Okay, I can flip it."
So humble these 240-pound linemen.
And exactly. Yeah. No, it's I like that high school actually.
Yeah,
it's a nice high school.
I mean, it's got best.
Yeah, sure.
I think our first year in football, we won one game.
Oh yeah.
And it was like to Carbon County, and they were like, I don't think they had won a game in like 4 years, and so like, we were trash. Like, we just got beat up all the time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Let them have that one.
Yeah. That's it.
Wow. So played Did you play any other sports? Just basketball? Kind of just honed in on
what
basketball?
position did
Or football?
you play?
You said football, right?
Yeah. So football, I played. My main position was wide receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I played, some corner, some safety.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
that was like, especially my junior year when I got cut.